Okay, tell her to turn a little bit more to me.
Tourne-toi un petit peu plus vers lui.
Good. Let me just check something.
Alors, tu vas tirer sur la partie plus épaisse de la cravate jusqu'à ce qu'il te dise stop.
Ok.
Encore.
Stop. Good. Okay, now bring the long part above the short part.
Non, tu prends la partie la plus longue, tu la passes par-dessus la partie la plus courte.
Ok.
Voilà. La plus longue,
Oui.
tu la passes en dessous de la petite partie, voilà.
Yes, and go around.
Tu refais un tour autour de la partie fine, en laissant un espace. Voilà, tu viens de créer un espèce de petit cercle. Donc tu laisses l'espace, tu le repasses par-dessous,
I don't think she's understanding.
tu comprends?
Non, pas tout à fait.
Les deux parties.
Well, I don't think you're giving her good advice.
Okay, well, tell me again. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead.
Okay.
Voilà, stop.
Try to explain her that the point is we're trying to get a loop around the short one, leaving a space so that when the other part goes underneath, she has the space, otherwise she doesn't have the space.
Donc, tu fais un tour encore avec la partie plus épaisse.
Comme ça?
Voilà, il faut que ce soit un petit peu lâche pour que tu aies de l'espace ensuite pour passer la partie la plus épaisse.
Oui.
Passe la par-dessous.
Là?
Voilà, là.
Are you translating what I'm saying?
Oui, la pointe à l'intérieur, voilà. Tu vois l'espace qu'il y a?
Ok, d'accord.
Là, tu passes la cravate, tu tires,
Je tire.
tu essayes que ce soit à peu près plat. D'abord un petit peu sur le pied. Voilà, encore.
C'est bon là? Non? Ça va?
Non, ça va pas.
Pourquoi?
Parce que la partie fine est plus longue.
Can't be too long, because then it looks like a clown tie.
Tu vois, regarde, ça c'est parfait.
Ouais, comme ça.
Hatutai Tai, version française.
Tu m'expliques ça? C'est bien? Parfait. Ça va.
The main difference, I believe, is just a will to do the right thing is a way to describe a gentleman from 100 years ago. I think with the gentleman's handshake, with the gentleman's agreement, honor codes in school, there was a will to do the right thing. And that was a very integral part about being a gentleman. Today, it's more about how you dress, whether you open the door for a lady, or perhaps whether you take turns in a conversation. Very basic ideas of what a gentleman means compared to what it was a century ago. For me, a gentleman is somebody who wants to present himself well, but in an honest way, and in a way that he's not afraid to show his idiosyncrasies. Maybe he likes vintage, maybe he likes strange glasses, and maybe he prefers a bow tie. I mean, and if he does, having the courage to present himself that way as he is. And so that's one part of it. And then the next part is returning to that desire to do the right thing in everything that he does. So that fusion of how you present yourself and how you behave, to me, is what a gentleman is in these days. If you think about someone you know that's just the opposite of someone who serves, someone who is so proud of the way he looks that he is constantly displaying himself to the point where no one else is included. He's constantly looking for those likes, those hearts, those thumbs up, but he's not giving them back to other people. Now, this is a very shallow way to approach the subject. He's not serving others, he's taking. So I think that there's a void in this business, and there's a danger of getting lost too much in yourself and forgetting about other people. Well, say you're broke, you really don't have money to go get a bespoke suit. Maybe you're in, even in your 30s, say, and you're trying to support your kids, your wife, a lot of stuff going on, your job, you know, things in the community, and you don't know where to start. So I would say you go to a place like Suit Supply or Boji, which are really nice level clothes that you would pay for junk somewhere else if you use the same amount of money. And that's a good place to start with one of these places. And maybe for shoes, you look for a Spanish maker of shoes, which is very nice, but you're paying a fraction of the price than you would at a lot of other places that have fine shoes, like Carmina, for example. Excellent place for your first pair of shoes. Merman as well, which is affiliated with Hermina, and that's really when you're starting out. You're willing to break in those shoes, because those merman shoes can be tough to break in, but they can still be beautiful. If you get a suit, maybe one suit with a vest, and you have one nice pair of shoes, you can really mix it up with, sometimes leaving the jacket on the chair and just wearing your vest, wearing several different ties, sometimes wearing braces or suspenders. There's a lot of things you do, different pocket squares. There's a lot of things you can do with just one suit and a vest or waistcoat, as the English like to call it. Well, asking one to stare you on style is a very unique question, because each person may have a different answer. Of course, we know that in France, they're all about haute couture and the woman, and that's sort of translated over to the men. You have a very defined shoulder and very strong silhouette, and it almost it's like when you walk into a room, you have something to say. The English, they're more, I would say, discreet. They don't want to make a big bang when they walk into a room, but they want to be respected. And their silhouette's still pretty close to the body, and very defined, not the big rope shoulder, but a nicely cut shoulder. You can see a lot of images just by going on the internet and comparing the French and English. The Italians are an animal all their own. And the interesting thing about Italians is you can't just say, this is what an Italian suit looks like, because the northern Italians are living in a more colder environment, so they're wearing the more structured suits, which may look a little more English, Roman. When I say that, it's just a little more padding in the shoulder, a little more structure overall in the suit, a little less swing, more serious look. But as you go south in the warmer climates of Italy, this is where you're really getting into an interesting style for suiting, and that's what many already know as a Neapolitan suit, which hails from Naples, Italy. And this situation, you're seeing the patch pockets, you're seeing the battuta pocket, which looks like a boat on the chest pocket. You're seeing kissing buttons here that overlap. A lot of seam darts that go all the way down below the pocket, and of course the soft shoulder, which is called a shirt shoulder, where the fabric is sewn up under the material on top of the shoulder, which gives a lot of shearing and just a beautiful soft look, and it's a sort of an addictive look for a lot of people once they experience that Italian tailoring, because it's very easy wear, very comfortable, and super stylish. The Italians definitely have an emotional type of approach to life, and I think that is reflected in the clothing that they're wearing. They're very effervescent, they value family, and a lot of times if you overhear a conversation in an Italian family, you'll think they're having a fight. They're not, just having a discussion. So you do see a lot of the commonality between the personality of the Italians and the way they choose to dress. Americans, as you know, are very Ivy League, Brooks Brothers, wearing the loose jackets and more of a gritty professor style. You see a lot of the elbow pads, and it's just more of a swing style. And you know what? That's coming back, which is strange, because for so long that tight, silhouette and just strong, clean appearance was the thing. And now it's more like the swing look with the old Ivy League Americans. So it changes, 3 years, 5 years from now it'll be something else. It's a very fascinating thing to follow style. But finding your own style is really what it's all about. You don't have to worry about what the French and English and Americans are doing. You need to really turn into yourself and ask yourself, what do you like? The subject of comfort's an interesting subject as well, because to some people, they're very tactile sensitive, and comfort is reigning over everything. And so they're just going to want to put on what they feel good in. But you could talk to another man across the street, and he's not so concerned about comfort. He just wants to look great. He wants to get the date, he wants to get the promotion, he wants to get the attention, and comfort's not really on his radar anywhere. So it really depends on what's important to you. The way you determine which style is yours, whether it's American, English, Italian, Parisian, is ask yourself, first of all, which type of style you like. Do you like destructured, comfortable suits, or do you like to really, command the room? If you like the more comfortable suits, you want to go with American or Italian style, Southern Italian. Remember, Northern Italian's a little different. If you like to command the room, you want to go with more of a Parisian or Northern Italian style. So it really depends on what you want to say when you walk into a room. Sized jacket, trousers, maybe a waistcoat. But once you have the suit itself, shoes, a few pair of socks, you're going to want to move to the accessories, of course. The most obvious is the necktie. So with the necktie, I suggest that you get one really nice solid, maybe in a blue, dark blue. You get a regimental striped tie. Make sure that it doesn't violate any university rules. Some of the prep schools have very strict regimental looking ties, so you don't want to copy that because that's very offensive to some of these schools. And you also want to get some kind of either dots or paisley or some type of motif that pleases you. So that's 3 ties straight away. The next thing you want to do is get a pocket square. One thing that most men like to do is have just a white linen pocket square or any type of white fabric pocket square that they can fold and put in their pocket. And there's many different options of how they may want to do that, whether it's a puff, TV fold. Yes, that's another one that's always safe. What I do is I take a postcard or any type of card and I fold the pocket square over it and just stick it in the pocket. It's a perfect TV fold. Goes every time with every suit. So another thing that you can consider is jewelry. For example, I'm wearing a tie pin here. A lot of people are afraid to put a tie pin in, but to me it's not an issue. It never has been an issue. A lapel pin, which is a pin like this, can also be used in lapel on your jacket. And finally, you could consider the colors that appeal to you. Of course, blue and gray are the basics. But if you really want to move forward, you can look at brown suits and green suits and mix the accessories according to what blends. There's a rule with mixing colors that seems to work very well. You take the color that's not as obvious in an ensemble in a suit. For example, I'm going to look here at this light gray. It's the recessive color in my suit. Dark gray is the dominant color. And I'm going to use this light gray, for example, for a light gray pocket square, or maybe a light gray base with a design, motif on the pocket square. So you pull out the recessive colors in your suit or your shirt, if you're wearing a striped shirt, and you play that up with your accessories. It's a very nice tip to know when you're combining colors and patterns. If I'm meeting a man who wants to command the room, I like it when he wears a well-fitted suit, right? And he's not afraid to have silhouette, basically to show his body, even if his body may not be so fit. A man who's not so fit, he's a little rotund, can wear a 3-piece suit with a vest, and that waistcoat or vest is going to pull in his silhouette. And look at Winston Churchill, for example, a very prominent man who definitely commanded a room. And I think that a man should not be limited by his body shape and say, oh, I will dress in a suit when I lose 50 pounds. I'm like, no, do it now. It's just as powerful if you weigh 250 pounds or if you weigh 180 pounds. A suit can be just as powerful. And now let's address the gentleman who wants to be comfortable. I would like to see a guy who would just take on that sack suit look. Have the elbow patches going on, wear the tweed, just take it to the full extent. Or embrace the Scottish look where he looks like he's going out hunting, Don't feel limited. If you want to be discreet, wear the blue and gray suit. Be discreet, but be the best discreet guy. Slowly at first, but then moving to the level that is something you can feel good about. Because we have better means of communication now. I think that today there's a movement towards androgyny that is more like blurring the lines about what you're supposed to wear or what I'm supposed to wear. And I am very happy to have been introduced to the men's style arena and had the opportunity to try on some of these artisanal clothes and wear a suit. They call them pantsuit for women, right? Because there's a little bit of perceptions that it's too masculine for a woman to wear a suit. She has to wear a pantsuit. So you can call it whatever you want. I was introduced to this look just because I was in the business. But I would consider myself very blessed to have discovered this and not be in the business. Because first of all, you own an artisan's work, you know, and there's a lot of history with bespoke suit making and bespoke shoe making that's a pleasure to partake in. The dressmaking arena for women is not really there anymore. It's rare. I would encourage every woman to at least try it. I think that you might be surprised at the influence you have once you put that suit on. Knowing the story behind the suit, it brings meaning to what you're wearing. When you wear a Chippinelli suit from Paris, for example, and you know this Parisian house began in the early 1900s, and you could follow the progression through time of each master tailor and his son after him crafting these suits, it makes you stop and pause. And if you have the pleasure to go into these houses and watch the tailor put his hand to the suit, and you understand that each suit can take up to 60 hours to make, stitch by stitch, even canvases being stitched inside the suits. The finishing, when you open the suit and you see all the fine finishing inside, the finishing nobody can see but you, and you understand the sweat and the blood. Even I've seen shoemakers bleed. You know, you understand the heart that's put into the clothing. It makes you, first of all, want to take care of your clothes because you don't want to disrespect the clothing. And secondly, it just makes you appreciate, even moment by moment, what you're wearing on your body. And it tells a story.
Ti ricordo che sono felicemente sposata, che ho un marito. Quello non è tuo marito. Sicuro è aumentata l'inflazione. Io mi chiedo dove andremo a finire.
A me lo dici. Ieri al mercato il controfiletto, dico controfiletto e non filetto, 18.000 litri.
Io non voglio discutere con un marito che si è tinto di biondo, va in giro con un cagnolino coi fiocchetti e per giunta è tutto dorato. Ma che cos'è sta roba?
E questo che cos'è?
È un nostro modello.